So then, like, James.
I
Um,
was gonna take some.
my mom gets it to her.
Yeah, that's okay.
If you don't take it at the right time, you'll
Trying to
pay
remember
it.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Gosh.
Doesn't make me sleepy, but it definitely works, but it works quick. And this is not a setting for.
Exactly.
Like
There's some growing on this.
I mean, that's a stuff. You better, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
Dishes.
I usually.
All right, it is 6 o'clock. Call this March 2nd council meeting in order. Could you please rise if you're able and join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Treasurer Price, can you please call the roll?
Myers. Wilmore.
Well, not
Brother.
Here.
here. All right, very good.
Here,
Thank you.
sorry.
Here. Am I here?
Hi. You omitted your name. It's just.
Yeah, I figured that would be a no brainer.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Nope,
leave you
that's
out.
all right. All right, the February 2nd council meeting minutes have been submitted for your review. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, additions, subtractions to the submitted February 2nd council meeting minutes? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the February 2nd Delphi Common Council meeting minutes, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Without objection, we will enter the department head reports into the minutes unless the accountant so chooses to go through them and discuss them. Since it's on the department head reports.
Good.
Yeah. All right, first item of business is going to be the blight grant application for 402 South Washington to ready. Here we have Julia Leahy and Whirling.
Okay, thank you all. So 402 South Washington, many of us remember that as Hildebrandt's building, just as a point of reference. Delphi Lumber Company back in the day. So there is a new proposal in front of us called it's the Ready Arts and Culture Grant Program, and they also have a blight grant available. So this was using funds from Lilly Endowment that would help fund blight projects. That is clearly a blight project. And so we have a tight deadline to meet, but April 15th is the deadline to apply. And there's still a lot of unknowns, unfortunately, because it's Ready. Many of you know Ready is a program that changes a lot, but we are working behind the scenes to try and figure out what will be required. A little bit more about the project. I'm gonna let Anita talk just a little bit, just because there's so much that a whole group of us have gotten together. There are a lot of plans that will involve a lot of different locations, and this is one of them.
Yes, we just learned early in February about an initiative using Lilly Endowment funds. I think they gave 265 million to the state, and it's being administered through Ready. And a chunk of that is going to be for arts and cultural initiative. And we have a group that includes the Delphi Preservation Society, Delphi Main Street, the Carroll County Heritage Transportation,
Opera House,
the Opera
Delphi Arts
House.
Council, there's a lot of groups that come together.
Now,
Yeah.
all working on a proposal to create, to really build upon Stellar and the walkability that occurred, the enhancements to the buildings in the downtown with the facade restoration project. And that, that pathway of pavers that really connects the different areas of the community. So what we're working on is an arts and cultural trail initiative that would visually connect multiple points. I think we've identified 13 or 14. It would start at the south end of the South Gateway coming into the city, just past the viaduct, with the interurban project, which the Delphi Preservation Society is working on restoring the interurban station there, just this side of Deer Creek. So that will be part of this project. The Delphi Public Library has a storybook trail that they're working on in Riley Park. There are, I think, 5 or 6 different mural sites that have been identified. We would like to add additional kiosks in the downtown to highlight where you are on that trail and to show you what, the other, where you should go next. So the Chapel Gallery, the Opera House Gallery, the Parish House, the Wabash Canal, all the way on out. So this would basically connect with banners and with kiosks, all of those cultural attractions which draw tens of thousands of people today into the community. And hopefully with this initiative would draw many more. So obviously we can't include the Delphi Lumber Company in its current state into this plan, but there is a blight component that's part of this same initiative and is still using Lilly endowment funds. And so the thought with the blight portion does have to be applied for by the city. And of course, the city owns the building. So we don't have the numbers yet, but we're working on getting those together. We're not going to ask for, you to approve an application that you don't have, information about.
Yet, right.
But the application will have to be in by April 15th. So our plan is to work on this with your consensus and then come back in April with more of the details of the proposal. But we wanted to fill you in on the background for this. It's a tremendous opportunity to really build on the assets that we already have in the community and to, really tie them all together and promote them as an arts and cultural trail. So again, I think if you say, nope, we're not interested at all, okay, we won't work on this. But if you see this as an opportunity to restore a building that is in your hands, and I don't think what we do know in terms of commitment is that, that with the arts and cultural initiative, and this is part of that, there is not a direct match requirement. Whether that holds true or not, we'll find out as we learn more about this project. Anything that has been spent on the building after April 23rd of 2023 can count as match. Anything spent after February 4th of 2024 can be reimbursed. So we know that there are some things that fall in each of those buckets, and
Right.
Julie will be working with
Right, to get those numbers, yeah.
to get with those numbers.
We did the structural analysis last year, if I was not mistaken, so.
So that would be
I think that
in
could be reimbursed.
reimbursement bucket.
And what you spent a couple, 3 years ago can count towards match. It's what we're being told, so. So, I mean, right now it's an empty building, it's an eyesore, it needs a lot of work.
And so what would we use
Do
it for?
something, yeah.
So with the theme of, arts and cultural trail, the thought for that building would be, art studio, so maker space, which we do not have. So younger artists just starting out, have, if they don't have, a space to work in their homes, this would be space that could be rented. The other possibility is a Trovall museum for paintings by Delphi artist Roy Trovall. We're going to talk about some other, initiatives for the outside, in terms of display areas. If you think about the area from the building out towards the creek, it's a beautiful area that could be used for outdoor sculpture and, for, a gathering space, if, pavers are part of the area, a fire pit. Some things that would make it attractive for people to sit and, look at the art and also just, have a chance to talk to them.
And all of this, of course, is right there by the parks. So as more and more enhancements are done, the Parks Department wants to do a lot more with the annex in the next couple of years, depending on funding. So yeah, it's a great way to really make that the gateway. I mean, as you're literally entering into the city like that. So there's just a lot of ideas on what to do with the building, right?
Did you retain ownership of the land after the project?
We don't really know.
We're not sure what the guidelines are gonna be yet.
Yeah, again, we're waiting to get more information from the state and from IEDC. And, my guess is that it would, but I don't know.
We don't know for sure. We just know that we only have 6 weeks.
Right.
To even apply to see what the possibilities are. And if it's not of any interest to you, we'll save ourselves the time, but.
They even have, there's changes still being incorporated with Ready One. And now that Ready Two's out, Ready Two
Yeah.
changes seems like every time we have a meeting,
The
so.
nice thing with this though, it's lily money, which
Right.
maybe won't have as many restrictions.
Yeah.
Is what we're hoping, so.
And
That's a
actually,
big chunk
the
of money.
application
Big chunk.
for the Arts and Cultural Trail goes in through the Indiana Arts Commission portal. This one will go directly, the blight goes directly to IEDC. So it doesn't go through the, our region even.
Right, but we can certainly connect the projects with the possibilities and really advancing Delphi even more in the arts and culture area. This is gonna bring a lot of people.
So I think what we're asking for is, do we have your permission to proceed to work on this and then come back to you next month? with the
Details,
proposal?
yeah.
I like it.
I like it as well.
Yeah, see what happens. It's a lot of paperwork, obviously, and we didn't wanna, if you weren't interested, so.
I disagree. I mean, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars on that building. It's been sitting there for 3 or 4 years. We did that under your
We
administration.
did.
So now that's, that's convenient. And I don't know where tens of thousands of visitors are coming from, but I don't see them. And I've not had a single constituent tell me that anyone has told me that, boy, that was a good idea to buy that building. In fact, what I hear is tear it down for safety reasons. So I'm not in favor of that. I'm
It's a
just,
great example of
let
that.
me finish.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of it.
Okay,
So
Which is,
duly noted.
yeah, and that's, the blight funds, that's kind of the goal behind it is buildings that are close to falling down. I think they had a couple of power that were nearly ready to fall down, just different communities that were,
They do.
they're close to going and they bring them back to life. So that's
Mhm.
kind of the blight, I guess, structure.
I'd rather see us find some other building to do that to other than that one.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd be interested to see if we get reimbursed for the money that we already spent into it as well.
Do you think you'll have that for the April meeting?
Yes, well, and if we don't, then, we'll not be able to apply,
Yeah.
basically, so. But it sounds as if there is a consensus that we can move forward and so
Mhm.
we'll come back in April.
With details.
Thank you.
Okay,
you so much.
thank you.
Good, thank you. All right. Next item of new business is going to be proposed ordinance 2026-3. It's an ordinance amending chapter 51, section 39 of the City of Delphi Code of Ordinances regarding fire hydrant rental fees paid by owners of private fire protection. We did first reading on this in February. This will be the second and third readings if approved. First of all, let me get a motion on the floor. Is there a motion to approve proposed ordinance 2026-3?
So moved.
Second.
All right, open up to the board for discussion.
Does this include, sprinkler systems inside building? Is that what it means by private fire protection?
It has the hydrants, is my
Tailored
understanding.
specific to
Yes.
fire hydrants.
It's for those because we have now over 200 hydrants. And so according to State Board of Accounts, to be able to have that amount that we have budgeted for it, we divide that up amongst how many hydrants that we have.
Right, divided out.
Yes.
So we previously put $1,000 per hydrant and budgeted 79,000 for the council to go towards.
Mhm.
So now we have 220 hydrants in the city. So that's where the,
So I always thought of, fire hydrants as being, fire department and community and everything like that. Where does the private fire come in at then? What's the definition of that?
Those are sprinkler, like the private ones.
Mhm.
We actually bill for hydrants that people have on the property, so we bill for those sprinkling.
Okay.
That fire.
So if a business has a sprinkler system, you bill extra for that?
I
not
believe-
for that, is it for the sprinkler or for the hydrant?
Well, like we have, I think that when the sprinkler and the hydrant system, like if the hydrant is on the property. I mean, I know we bill for that part of it. I'm not sure about the sprinkler part of it within the building itself.
Yeah, I think.
But I do know that we
this is
bill
tailored to
for the hydrants for people who have them on the properties.
But this statute change is tailored to the hydrant.
Just the hydrants itself. That's
Correct.
what this one is for. Then we send out invoices for hydrants on properties at the beginning of the year.
Correct. Any further questions regarding proposed ordinance 2026-3? Right, none, all in favor of approving ordinance 2026-3? An ordinance amending chapter 51, section 39 of the city of Delphi Code of Ordinances regarding fire hydrant rental fees paid by owners of private fire protection. Signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2026-3 on third and final reading? An ordinance amending chapter 51, section 39 of the city of Delphi Code of Ordinances regarding fire hydrant rental fees paid by owners of private fire protections. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of questions from the board? Third and final reading. All right, here none. Call for vote. All in favor of approving ordinance 2026-3 on third and final reading, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item of business is going to be proposed ordinance 2026-4. An ordinance to establish a cumulative capital development fund under Indiana Code 36-9-15.5. Very quickly here, I'll go through a brief introduction on this. We went through the process of getting it approved last year. It turns out it was not properly published in the Carroll County Comment, to where we end up pulling off the past ordinance. And so it did not get codified, it did not get moved forward. One of the reasons why we've introduced this again is due to, I sent you guys the Delphi Senate Bill 1 summary of impacts. The Senate Bill 1 is brought to us by the state of Indiana. It's going to be a cut to the general fund, and Julie, there's not very many communities that don't already have this in place, correct?
We're like
So, but-
one of very
Yeah.
few in the state of Indiana that does not have.
We don't
like-
want to. Nobody likes taxes, and we're not trying to add taxes, but every city in the state right now is trying to find a way to make up for the Senate Bill 1 losses that's gonna come to their budgets. So again, this was presented last year, it was approved, however, we pulled it off the table. Encouraged by AIM and other legislations to get this back on the books. So that's why we are reintroducing it to the common council again this evening. So First of all, let's get a motion on the floor so we can discuss. Is there a motion to approve proposed ordinance 2026-4, an ordinance to establish the cumulative capital development fund? A motion, is there a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. I'll open the floor for discussion.
So is this a tax increase then? Is that what this amounts to?
It's an excess tax for
Mhm.
that, and it's, if you look at section three, it tells you what the amounts are on there, 0.333 on each $100 of assessed valuation of taxes payable in 28. 5 cents on the $100 for assessed valuation of tax payable in 29 and thereafter.
So
27.
yes, then it is a tax.
Yes.
Yes, 2027 is 0.33, 2028 it's 0.05, and then 2029 thereafter, continue until reduced or rescinded. Again, it's that we introduced last year was moved forward, improved, however, we did not get past the we had an error with the publishing, so we pulled it. And what's the time frame, Julie, for State Board of Accounts? Is
Usually
it
the deadline to have it completed is May 30th or 31st.
Was there not a cap to that? Like annual cap?
For the amount they
for the
take.
amount?
It's the value, the $100, it's 0.0167 on each $100 of assessed valuation for the payable in 27, 0.0333 on 100 of assessed valuation for in 28, and 0.05 on each 100 of assessed valuation for taxes payable in 29, and continuing until reduced or rescinded.
That's for. 28.
Mary, do you have anything to add on this?
Yep, you explained it clearly, I thought.
Did you guys all get, I've sent it several times, but this was the summary of SEA one impacts that was we had it done by Baker Tilly last year, just to give you an overview of what the cities, and of course, you know, they just got out of the legislation last week. They finished the short session, and Senate Bill 1 wasn't discussed a whole lot. So what they have on the table right now is what stands. It's going to be a critical impact to a lot of cities. That we don't like to pay taxes. Nobody does, right? Senate Bill 1 affects our general fund, which is how we operate. It operates police, fire, infrastructure, you know, everything we do in the general fund. So just to give an example, I think Mishawaka is going to lose, I think it's between 12 and $15 million of their annual budget. They're already laying police officers off because they're just not going to have the funds aren't going to go in from their APVs to their assessment taxes to fund it. So its initiative is to save the taxpayers' taxes, which is we all want that, right? I don't like to pay taxes either, but I know what the general fund includes on incorporating what we do in the city. So every city has been challenged with this. It's been a lot since it was introduced last year. And at the State House, seems like every week since last June. And had we had 20-some amendments to it right off the bat. So they listened to us, and you know, we understand it, but we also have to understand that we have to keep our city daily operations moving forward. So that's just a general overview from my perspective on how do we make up these funds, right? How do we continue to have funds to pay for roads, pay for all the things that the general fund provides. So it's Senate Bill 1 is, that's why I wanted to get AIM here. We had to reschedule that, but I will get that taken care of to where they can come give a full breakdown of Senate Bill 1. It'll make you dizzy. I know Ross Hagan gave a quick one, and I think we all left dizzy, right? And it's still ever changing. So they're making amendments, but at the end of the day, it's here. It's already in effect, and each year it's going to progressively take more funds that we operate in the city. So I'll try to get AIM back here, hopefully in April. That way they can give us a thorough, don't know if I'm gonna do it during a council meeting, because I want them to have ample time. They'll explain it and take questions and, hopefully the public shows up and ask questions and you guys ask questions, because there's a lot to it. It's very complicated. It's complicated enough that even the state legislators, when we ask them questions, they're not real sure on a lot of things, so.
This was warned about 3 or 4 years ago as coming,
What, Senate Bill 1?
that you were not going to get as much, stuff in the state and everything else for your, general fund and everything like that. So I just, there's no way I can vote for a tax increase. We're getting taxed well enough. There's no way I'm gonna vote for that.
And that, I understand that, and that's, nobody, like I said, nobody likes taxes. I don't like taxes, but I also want a fire truck to show up and, so.
Maybe a point of clarification. This is a tax, it is a not to exceed tax.
Right.
But it's really a replacement. Cosmically speaking, your property taxes will likely level, but because Senate Bill 1 is going to reduce your taxes, but in order to make up that budget, the city is enabling the opportunity to replace those taxes. So it's not
Almost
really-
washing it out.
Yeah, it's almost a wash rather than a tax increase. And if it's not needed, this is not to exceed. It doesn't have to be enabled if it doesn't have to be imposed if it's not needed.
Right, but when you're in when you're in a city that's in one of the highest tax rates in the state of Indiana already, and we've got, if I'm not mistaken, unless something's changed, we've got 2 $1 million CDs in the bank. I think we can come up and, you've always got budget reductions and everything like that. I think we can come up with a better way than increase taxes.
Talk about the CDs for the fire territory,
No, I'm talking the last I knew,
Margaret,
for the fire
we
territory.
have a high yield money market for the city and the fire territory
Right.
has 2 CDs.
Yep. Just asking which one is referred to. Yep, again, this is why we put it on the docket for a council discussion. It's certainly your guys' decision to move forward or not move forward, so. Further discussion or questions? Yeah.
For some reason, I remember, I figured like it's gonna hit us like 8%, that SB 1.
Yeah, this is what Ross presented, but since he's presented this, it's changed. To get the exact numbers for any community right now would be, they have numbers in Excel sheets that's everywhere. So,
Oh, no, yes, that's big.
so it's one of those to where when they have their next session, is it going to change again? Because it seems to be changing every time they get together in session. So they have made a lot of amendments and I don't think that, I don't see them ever just saying, we're not going to do it, revert back to what we had.
if I've got one of these crises at my house, I'm gonna find a way to cut my budget and save my money. And I think we ought to do that too. I think we ought to tighten our belt as opposed to increasing taxes.
Any further discussion or questions from the board? Yep. Hear none. All in favor of approving ordinance 2026-4, an ordinance to establish a cumulative capital development fund under Indiana Code 36-9-15.5 on first reading, signify by stating aye.
I,
Opposed?
Nay.
Carried. We'll reintroduce this next month. Next item of business is going to be proposed ordinance 2026-5, amending the zoning maps. I'll just kind of order. Your packet, I believe there was a attachment. Yep, in your packet, there's a attachment for this. This was, first, let's get a motion on the floor. Is there an ordinance to approve? Or is there a motion to approve ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance amending the zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I'll open up the floor to give you a brief introduction of this. The planning commission met February 17th for Board of Works to discuss a rezone, which was approved, moving it on to this board. You have the developers here if they would. You guys want to come up and give a brief overview to what you discussed in the planning commission? Absolutely. Well, please say your name and who you're with for the record, please.
Hi, Scott Wagner. I'm with the Allen White Agency in Lafayette, Indiana. I represent my client Brittany Singh and his group of investors, and we are asking to have about 11 acres of ground up on 200 rezoned from R1 to R2. Our goal is a duplex community that we're looking to put in there. It will be home ownership, not rentals, not condominiums. So we are looking at zero lot line type of homes eventually. So we'll be coming back for a variance request later if we get our rezoning passed. I do have, I know that most of you were here at the planning meeting, but I don't think Dale was. So I did bring one of our presentations for you. You want to take a look? If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those, Dale.
Thank you.
You welcome, Ms. Wilmer.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
Everyone else proceeding with you. I do have extras if you need them.
He's got some of it on our, computer, got the photos.
This is a little bit bigger as well, sorry. This will go the area that we're requesting, and that's right next to the water tower apartments. 200.
You guys also in your packet have a certification recommendation from Code Crawford from the February 17th planning commission meeting. Go ahead, Scott.
So yes, so what we're looking at is some fruit falls on the floor and dries. What we're looking for is a rezone from R1 to R2, so we can do the duplex type of community instead of single family homes. Our map is kind of what we're showing on there. That's our design. That's what we're featuring. That's what we want to try to keep as close to as possible. We realize there may be a few minor things that engineering may come up with, or things we have to do a little different, but that's our goal. This community will have extra amenities as well. So we're looking at playgrounds. We're looking at a dog park in this first portion. We're calling it Oracle Acres. And we're actually looking at, our goal is for this to be the first phase. We have an option with the ownership of the real estate to buy another 20 acres if this works. So our goal is to do this first. We called it 10 acres originally. Our drawing brought it up to about 11.6. So if this goes well, our goal will be to expand, to continue. So that's what we're looking at. These homes, we think, as of right now, will be priced in the 220 range, somewhere in that range. They're gonna be 2-bedroom, 2-bath home, a 2-car garage, each one of them. So we're looking at a minimum of 34 duplexes, so 68 total units. And we're hoping to have the amenities of lawn care, snow removal, like for the sidewalks and drives, that type of stuff that will be in the HOA. So those would all be controlled by homeowners. We know we have approval when we get everything done. Excuse me. The style of home is just an example. We had 3 or 4 styles that we presented originally to the mayor, Julia, Deb was there, and they all liked what we were showing them. So I'll try to answer them. So
I do like how you pointed out at the area plan commission that you're really targeting like seniors wanting to downsize their home and first time home buyers.
yeah, that's our goal. Our goal would be, with these being a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-level home, first time home buyers because of the price, and then retirees, people relocating. My wife and I live in a big farmhouse with 2 floors we don't use now. And I'm not saying we would move to one of these right away, but I could see a lot of people doing that, especially with the idea if they're done right. So our goal is to offer a quality product that people will need. Our other thought was with the professionals coming in and out of IPC, with the school, with teachers and things like that, we think these will be great first time home buyer places. And then once they get done moving there, Bowen Estates is right down the hill. They can move down to a more luxurious home that's a higher quality or a higher visibility, not really quality, but a different style. So that would be our goal. This would be a starter or one where you're coming to maybe to slow down or get smaller so you don't have a big yard to take care of and you don't have to shovel 80 feet of driveway to get out in the winter. So
You said, you were targeting 220,000.
they may, and
Give or
that's,
take. Give or
yeah,
take.
somewhere in that range, Dale's what we're hoping. They could be slightly more, could be slightly less. It's gonna depend on cost, of course.
That's half the duplex.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's nice to have, we actually had citizens directly across from the street that were here to support it.
Yeah.
At the planning commission meeting, which I thought was,
We actually sent out letters to probably 20 more places than we needed to, just because we wanted to make sure we didn't. We want people to be for this, not against it. So,
and this is ownership. So-
yes, sir. That's our goal. I'm not saying that we never have said that there couldn't be a rental in there, but our goal is for these to be owned by someone else, not us. So we do not want to retain them. We don't want to keep these as a rental property for ourselves. We want to sell them. And if a person wants to come in and buy a duplex and live in one half and do something with the other half, we can't really control that. The HOA can put in language for rental type of conversations and rules. But we're not gonna own them. We don't want that.
I think that's a good addition. They really do.
I'd like to see you do that language in the HOA so it doesn't come to be a lie detector.
And we'll have to get that. We don't have it yet. So we will.
To young people, keep it to price range for, it's meant to work.
Yeah, it's gonna be based on market. So if the prices and the interest rates stay where we can afford to keep them in those levels, that's what they'll be. And we think we can. We've done enough research on it. We've checked with contractors. We've checked materials. I mean, so
yeah, the goal is when students return from college, they're already in debt, right? So something they can afford and keep them here in the community and be a part of.
there's some examples of these. I feel like I told the planning commission, there's an example of these types of things in Kokomo, right across from the county home. If you drive back in there, they're a condominium complex, but they're duplexes and they're about the same type of look. And I know families who bought the entire duplex and then the parents will live in one and an adult child lives in the other half and basically takes care of the parents even. So I'm not saying this will happen, but it's definitely a possibility instead of having single family homes and distance between.
Any questions? Staff report? Any additional discussion?
We appreciate your agreement to rezone. So thank
I
you.
don't see anything in there that would be adverse for the area or the city in general. I think that's a wonderful idea. The right price, it's the right features.
And so, we have no intention of competing with the homes going out of Bowen Estates. We will not be in that. We're not gonna be in that market.
It's a scenario that if a family buys their first home and their family grows, if the option right behind them is certainly one if they wish to do so, but
Yeah, absolutely.
eventually your family's gonna get large enough where you need more room, or it could be vice versa, right? So I like it. All right, any further discussion from the board? Good. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time, everyone.
Thank
All right.
There's your.
For taking with me. We'll do some with them.
You need a motion?
I had a motion in a second, so there's no further discussion from the board. We're gonna have to call vote. All those in favor of approving ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance amending zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana. On first reading, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, anybody?
I'm gonna make a motion that we suspend the rules so we can pass 2026-05 on second and third reading.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to suspend the rule on night introduction for ordinance 2026-5. Ordinance amending the zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana. Any further discussion before we move forward? Julie, I didn't add that on the boxes, so you got room. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hearing no discussion. All in favor of suspending the rules on the night of introduction for ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance amending the zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to approve ordinance 2026-5 and ordinance amending the zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana on second reading.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving ordinance 2026-5, night of introduction on ordinance amending the zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana, signify by stating aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2026-5, an ordinance amending zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana on third and final reading?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? All right. Hearing none, all in favor of approving proposed ordinance 2026-5 and ordinance amending the zoning maps for the city of Delphi, Indiana on third and final reading, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. All right, thank you. Next item of business is going to be proposed ordinance 2026-6. Ordinance establishing airport funds. I'll let Julie explain this. We also have Kate Ross from the airport here to give us a brief overview. First, let me give
Do a better job of explaining it than myself.
okay, let me first get a motion on the floor. I'll let him give his explanation first and then we'll get that forward.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. I'm Ken Ross. I'm the aviation consultant for the airport. And here to represent them on their behalf with Julie as well, work with Miriam on this ordinance as well. This is a housekeeping ordinance to clean up some funds and stuff, as you all know. Having the proper accounting funds in place and staying on the right side of State Board of Accounts is a never-ending task. And this is an update to keep Julie out of jail. So basically, we're wanting to clean up some readings to update them to the greatest code and to create some additional funds for some new grants that the airport is ready to receive in a day.
All right. Well, that was just a one. All right.
So I'll make a motion to approve 2026-06, establishment of airport funds.
All right, have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Open up the floor for discussion. Proposed ordinance 2026-6.
So this is creating funds under what you do, Julie?
Yes,
And then, so when the grants come in, they have a place to go?
yes, because the State Board of Accounts has deemed it necessary for grants that we have, and it's the same thing with the city. When we get a grant, the last audit that they did, they want us to create a specific one for that particular grant.
A line
When we
item.
go expend those funds, we know that those funds are going towards that.
Coming out right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like a line item fund that
Yes.
comes right out.
Same thing, but their grant funding and.
I think it makes it easier for the bookkeeping part of all
Well,
this.
it's like he said, it's state work accounts.
Yeah, to give you an example, every time you get a new grant for a new project, they want you to create a new fund and not mix those funds with
Right.
others. Historically, in the past, there has been one grant fund for every project that had a runway extension, a T hangar, and a fuel farm in it. So we want to close that fund, put the funds where they need to go, and then we are creating a new master plan grant, which is a planning grant, like a area planning grant. And then NDOT has a new program for pavement maintenance that we're going to take advantage of this year. Where you're going to get up to $100,000 from NDOT to help maintain pavements and stuff at the airport. So we can't mix that with the federal
Right.
funds in the same grant. And then the rest of it is like cleaning up some of the funds that you already have today, but the codes have changed, the numbering has changed, so we're just cleaning up the titles and the references. She's got money coming in any day now. She doesn't have a grant or a fund to put them in. So
It's the same thing we did for the community crossings grant. Very streamlined and going in the proper fund and makes it a lot easier for Julie. And we're also following the State Board of Accounts recommendations, so. All right, any further discussion or questions from the board for Ken? Question for Mary? Thing to add to it?
Yep.
Nope. Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you.
All right, here are no questions or discussions. I will now call for a vote. All in favor of approving proposed ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance establishing the airport funds, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nothing that's going to change with this. I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules on the night of introduction, allow for second and third reading.
So moved.
Motion and second. Suspend the rules on night of introduction for proposed ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance establishing the airport funds. All in favor, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion to approve proposed ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance establishing the airport funds on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. I will again open up the floor for discussion. Okay. Here none, all in favor of approving proposed ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance establishing airport funds on second reading, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve proposed ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance establishing the airport funds on third and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion of board close? All right, here none. All in favor of approving proposed ordinance 2026-6, an ordinance establishing airport funds on third and final reading, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next item of business is going to be proposed resolution 2026-1. Or a resolution authorizing the sale of surplus vehicles owned by the city of Delphi. First, we'll get a motion on the floor. Is there a motion to approve proposed ordinance 2026-1?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I will open up the floor for discussion.
Is this just for that fire truck or do we have more stuff we can put in that?
This is just for the bucket truck. We reached out to each department head and they had the opportunity to add any surplus that they wanted to add, and this was the only thing that we got back. So, yep, so the bucket truck was all that we moved forward with. I know when we did this in 24, we got rid of a dump truck from the airport. We got rid of a the blue truck from 1980, whatever. Yeah, and we actually did pretty well. To be honest with you, I was surprised on how well those came out on the website. But this time when we put it out there to
Quick.
it went real quick. Yeah, but there's no sense of a dump truck sitting at the airport, not moving, not doing anything. Yet we're still paying insurance on it. So. But the same thing with this, we've had this truck, I believe, since in the 1990s. It's done its job, and we did replace it. And obviously, we probably won't get a whole lot, but it might be a starter truck for someone getting in the tree cutting industry. Who knows? So, the purpose of this resolution is to move forward, have Aaron start that process of getting it online and advertising. So,
Life can take my hands.
people that are starting their own business, this is a good opportunity. This is what they're looking for on the website. So. All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or questions from the board? All right, here now I'll call for vote. All in favor of approving resolution 2026-1, resolution authorizing the sale of surplus vehicles owned by the city of Delphi. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That is all the agenda items I have for this evening. There's a picture of it, if you guys, on the back of your packet. Yeah, I remember that's the. So what I might do have on, before we adjourn, is the city has seen a dramatic increase in the volume of APRA requests received during the last year. Between January 1st of 2025 to February 20th, 2026, the city has received 25 requests compared to receiving a total of 4 in 2024. Of those, 11 were submitted by Mr. John Dietrich, of which 5 were submitted in a span of 2 weeks in October, and 4 were submitted within a span of 4 days in January. 4 were submitted by Mr. Kevin Gaskell, and 10 were submitted by other requesters combined. We have closed 68% of these. The city is fully committed to transparency and compliance of the APRA and wants to be responsive. The volume and scope of these requests do require significant staff time and legal review. The deluge of requests, especially by repeat requesters, have made it difficult to respond, and it resulted in lost productivity and significant legal fees due to each request, necessitating review by our city attorney. Last year, the city implemented ordinance number 2025-17. You guys remember that? Official record request form, in an effort to simplify and streamline the record request and provide transparency in how the city manages and requests regarding APRA. So this is something I just want to make the council aware of. Julie has done a great job working with Miriam on each one we get. It goes to through a process, right? It's not just we just get it out the next day. We have a time frame that we make sure we respond, but then we start diving into everything included with it. So I know it's taken a lot off Julie's schedule of diving into these. Again, she is 68% complete. They take time. So we ask the public that, when you don't get a next day response, it's because she's working through them and there's a lot to it. So Julie, do you have anything you want to add on this matter?
Other than the fact that it does expend a lot of time doing it, especially when some of them are very extensive and want a lot of detail and want a lot of the stuff that we put out there is on the board packets and things like that. And we've had some repeat requests for stuff like that has already been put out there that can be found on the website. So, but it does take time to actually respond to those as well and just tell them where they can find them, where the information is located, and so.
Say 68% complete with the amount that you had is pretty impressive. So I know there's a lot of work in it. So thank you for diving in them. And the thing is Julie still has to continue with daily operations of everything that goes through the clerk's office, which is a lot. It's a lot every single day. So she puts her time in on these once time is allotted, right? And that's basically the city operations come first. We got to continue moving forward. So she does a great job with it, and there's a lot to it. And we're going to start putting these out on the website to where people can see maybe the information, and they'll have it, right? So if they do have questions, they can see the request, they can see the request order, they can see everything involved with it. So maybe if they had a question, it's already on the website. So we did start that, I believe a couple of weeks ago. We created a file for that on the website. That way, hopefully answer some questions and keep the process moving forward. So that's all I had, other than State Road 25 did officially close today. It's hopefully a smooth project, but it's supposed to be closed through November of this year, which was a short time span. But we'll take it, right? Because bridges can be anywhere from a year and a half to 2 years. So that was the time frame given by NDOT. Again, they did officially close today. The detour has been uploaded to the city Facebook, the city website. We've put it out there as much as we could. NDOT's put it out there. Emergency management has put it out there. So doing our best to make sure that there's no semis that come to the downtown district jamming things up, and of course staying out of the neighborhoods. So that's all I had. I will ask for any board comments or concerns.
I have a question for Steve.
Yes.
How many officers and other personnel do we have under your tutelage or your super?
We have 8 officers right now. Yes.
Okay. Why are we paying for 20 cell phones?
That's also throughout the city.
Those are also hotspots that are in the vehicles, and some of them are cell phones, some are hotspots.
Okay. So that equals 20?
I'd have to look at the numbers to find out. We tried to reduce some of those here recently, but some of those may not all be cell phones or hotspots.
Yeah. They all have phone numbers, so Do your
Well,
hotspots,
have phone
do
numbers
they
as
have,
well.
that's
The
what.
hotspots have phone numbers to go with each one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I was thinking that, do we separate the mayor's office and clerk's office cell phones from the PD's phone, from that thing that happened? So everything's not linked into the PD for first step.
For budget wise or for the plan?
Well. You guys are separate, right? You're not
Yeah.
paying, the PD is not paying, it's not a general.
It's all through the general fund.
These 20 are under police though.
Yeah,
That's why.
they're-
Because these ones.
I'm trying to make sure, because at one point in
Each of the
time.
squad cars have the
office,
hotspot.
first office,
Each one of
everything
them.
ran through the
Yes,
PD.
today,
Okay.
each one of the squad cars have to have a hotspot because we're using a, records management system that requires consistent connection to the internet. Yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the board?
Good.
For Treasurer Price? No. How about public comments? Miriam?
Yeah.
All right. One last motion.
Adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by stating aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned at 6:55.